change your mind. I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know. Gonna be around. If you got no place to go when you're feeling down. If you're all alone, when the pretty birds have flown, honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. Gonna do my very best, and it ain't no lie. If you put me to the test, if you let me try, take a chance on me. That's all I ask of you, honey. Take a chance on me. We can go
some bottom so that the dancer just won't hide.
That's good eviction. Yeah, whoops. That's definitely on. You guys see it.
Running down the road, trying to loosen my load. I've got 7 women on my mind. 4 that wanna own me, 2 that wanna stone me, 1 says she's a friend of mine. Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. Lighten up while you still can. Don't even try to understand. Just find a place to make your stand and take it easy.
One of these nights, one of these crazy old nights, we're gonna find out, pretty mama, what turns on your lights. The full moon is calling, the fever is high, and the wicked wind whispers and moans. You got your demons, you got desires, but I've got a few of my own. Someone to be kind to in between the dark and the light. Whoa, 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 oh yeah, I swear one of these nights.
Somebody's gonna hurt someone before the night is through. Somebody's gonna come undone. There's nothing we can do. Everybody wants to touch somebody. If it takes all night. Everybody wants to take a little chance. Make it come out right. There's gonna be a heartache tonight, a heartache tonight, I know. There's gonna be a heartache tonight, heartache tonight, I know. Lord, I know. There's gonna be a heartache tonight, the moon shining bright, so turn out the light and we'll get it right. There's gonna be a heartache tonight, heartache tonight, I know. Ooh. Da 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 ba da, da 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 ba da, da 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 da. Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Come down from your fences. Open the gate. It may be raining, but there's a rainbow above you. You better let somebody love you. You better let somebody love you before it's too late.
Well, that was simply amazing, wasn't it? Let's give another round of applause for Soul to Soul, please. We are so glad you could join us today. For those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Will Brindley, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the student body president during this academic year. And I'm excited to be here today to hear about Miami Thrive, igniting change and inspiring leaders. So without further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce Miami University's 22nd president in his 9th year at Miami, President Greg Crawford. Go get him.
Welcome. It's great. It's really great to have you all here. Today is about Miami Thrive. It's our new vision and our new strategic plan for Miami University. So we have a lot to cover today, so please put your seatbelts on and get ready. First, before we get started, we lost some extraordinary Miamians this year. 3 lives that were cut short. Dr. Martha Castaneda, Dr. Phil Alexander, and Dr. Eric Marinich. And so could you please join me in a moment of silence to honor them? Thank you. So over the past decade and a half, Miami's had 3 strategic plans. The first one was just right after the Great Recession aftermath, and that was 2012. And it was exactly what Miami needed at that time, a focus on student life and the student experience and really making this place just amazing for that sort of aspect of our campus life with our students. In 2019, we accomplished nearly everything in that plan, and so we started planning for a new future, and we called it Miami Rise. This plan was bold and audacious, and it had all kinds of big ideas and projects in it and recommendations to take Miami to the next level. Lo and behold, in 2020 rolls around, and we have a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic that was extended longer than any of us could have ever thought. My board of trustees, our board of trustees at Miami University were phenomenal. When other schools were stopping projects and delaying strategic plans and stopping construction, they charged us to say, Greg, you've got to figure this out. Keep plowing through this plan. We'll make the investments, find the resources, repurpose, do what you have to do, but don't stop. Because when this is over, we'll be way out ahead. And that's exactly what happened. So in 2024, we look to see where we're at. We're in really great shape with Miami Rise. We're well positioned. And so we undertook a new strategic plan, which we called Miami Thrive. And it's sort of in the backdrop of a lot of challenges in higher ed. I'll go through a few of those, but notwithstanding the enrollment cliff that's headed our way in the next decade. So before I get started with Miami Thrive, I wanted to talk a little bit about Rise and just where we're at and where we're headed and how we can leverage those resources and what we've done in that plan with the next stage of Miami's progression. So if you look at the y-axis, you have growth. You look at the x-axis, you have time. And at some point, you have this inflection point. That could be a new strategic plan that drives you in a new direction. It could be a pandemic, a crisis that drives you in a new direction. And so Miami Rise was all about trying to figure out things that were truly transformative, that would leapfrog us above our competition. And also look at those evolutionary things that if we continue to seek excellence, would continue to grow and get better and better and better. And we wanted to avoid and figure out what was kind of stuck or stagnant, and we didn't want to be obsolete in anything that we've done. So Miami Rise had all kinds of neat things that happened. First, the Honors College was formed. That was the #1 recommendation of the Rise Committee. And when you think about this Honors College, in 4 years, 0 to 2,000 students, an average high school GPA of greater than 4.3, and it catapulted in the rankings from 100 to 50, and now we're number 6th in the country with the Honors College. Phenomenal. And then we have entrepreneurship. And what can you say about entrepreneurship? It's been here for a long time. We were way out in front of everyone else. And the reputation that's been built here on entrepreneurship for students is extremely phenomenal. I don't even know how better to sort of present it. Top 10 in the world for the last 17 years. And now, with the new addition of the Lee and Rosemary Fisher College at Elm, students, faculty, staff, and community members can use those entrepreneurial skills and start companies right here in Oxford. And then we had clinical health. And the new building came in with state-of-the-art technology. Technology that's largely Stryker. They did a wonderful gift for us. And we started a new nursing program and a new PA program. And the nursing program quickly went from 0 to 600 students, and now it's the most competitive program to get into at Miami University. Then data science, of course. How can you miss the new McVeigh building, which is just spectacular, outfitted with state-of-the-art equipment from cybersecurity to robotics to all kinds of great things that push out through the extended reality stage. And also the growth in the data science program and the curriculum around data science, which comes from all the different colleges. And so that was a big leapfrog. Now, when you look at it, we had some evolutionary things that we've been working on that continue to get better and better and better. The first one I'm going to mention is national honors of our students. We've had a record year for fellowships and also Phi Beta Kappa, and I know this year is going to be another record year. And so we continue to progress, and our students shine out there compared to others that are competing for those very hyper-competitive scholarships. And then sustainability. A decade and a half ago, we went down the path of being a sustainable campus. And then today, you see on the Western campus what's starting after all the geothermal is a solar field, and so we're super excited about that. That is transformative too, but it took 15 years, so I put it in the evolutionary category. And then the Pathways program. Those students that come to Miami, they live on the Oxford campus, they want the Miami experience, but they start at the regional campus, and then they can transfer in to Miami in a semester or two, and that program's growing nicely and adding to our campus. And then the research enterprise at Miami in 2017, the external grants were $15 million that came in. And then this past year, we broke a record. We were above $50 million in external grants, which funds faculty research and graduate students, undergraduates, and all of the above to make research happen here on this campus in a teacher-scholar model. And then there's a few things that started to rise and are going to be into Thrive as well. The first one is our sort of manufacturing effort at Knightsbridge, which is the building right next to the Hamilton campus. It's 55 acres, and it has the old Champion Paper executive offices there of 300,000 square feet, and we're converting it with our partners into a great manufacturing hub. We couldn't have done this without our partners at Butler Tech, and the incoming superintendent of Butler Tech is here. William Sprinkles, could you stand? Yeah. We look forward to working with you, William, and good luck in your new job. And of course, we couldn't have done this without the Butler County Commissioners. They were phenomenal. They put in $15 million to make this project happen. And one of our commissioners is here today. T.C. Rogers, could you stand? Just phenomenal, and so we're really excited about that, and that'll continue into the Thrive program. And then, of course, the orange fences are up around Bachelor Hall, and it's going to be a new hub on campus for humanities and MJF departments, and so we're really excited about that. You can see there that wonderful atrium rendering, so we're going to cap off the middle, and we're going to go ahead and have this great interaction space when it's all done. We're very excited about that. We believe it's going to bring transdisciplinary collaborations all together, and also research and scholarship, so it'll be a great place to kind of find new ideas and research and things that you might like to do cutting across departments and cutting across colleges. So both of these two things will transfer in to Miami Thrive. I'm really proud of this picture I made. Nobody probably knows what it is, but in any event, it's a physicist's rendition of order and chaos. And so as you go from left to right, higher ed is kind of a very ordered and a nice structured lattice with positional and orientational symmetry. And then as you go through a lot of the disruptions that are happening to us, we're changing and the colors are changing on everything that we're doing, and we're getting more disordered. And a few of those things are important to mention as we jump into Thrive, because we had to consider all of these. The first is demographics. We know we're going to be in about a 10% decline over the next decade for high school students. The second is families are worried about cost and affordability. College got expensive, and it's important for them to have the right resources, scholarship, and aid to be able to make this work. The third area is degree programs, so students coming to universities nationwide are driving more towards the professions than ever before. And we're seeing that also at Miami. The next one is perception. This is what bothers me the most as president, is that when you look at the Gallup poll or you look at the Pew study, the negative perceptions of higher ed are there. And so we have to turn that around in the future. But it's out there, and we have to work towards it. And then technology, AI, quantum computing, data science, and analytics is really going to be either a disruption or it's going to be an opportunity for us. And so as we thought about Thrive, we had to think about these challenges that we faced here at Miami and also on the national landscape. So we got started with Thrive, and we needed somebody to lead it. And so Brent Schock came out of retirement to Thrive at Miami. So he did a fantastic job over the past year, and we were so happy for his work and what he pulled together, collaboration and unity, and just a lot of camaraderie. He just did it all. And then we have two other leaders that helped out quite a bit in Thrive that were leaders with the Thrive group. One was Andy Durajaye, who's the dean of the regional campuses and a vice president, and he's taking on a new role. And Andy was the co-chair of the Leveraging Regional Campus Committee Opportunity Area, and he also was a liaison with Academic Affairs. Then Melissa Thomason, our economist and our local financial analyst, calculated all the projects to see if they were going to be okay in terms of finances and revenue and how much investment we have to make. So let's give these three a big round of applause. Just phenomenal. And so this was the process. The process was, if you look on the left, those gray arrows, those are called the Foundational Strength Committees, things that we're fantastic at here at Miami, things that make Miami, Miami. The teacher-scholar model, writing, liberal education, ... all the way down to alumni engagement and inclusive excellence. So those groups got together, and how do we keep and leverage off of our strengths and make sure we don't lose that in a process of a new innovative plan? Then we had 10 opportunity areas around the circle, starting with lifelong learning, experiential learning, urban bridges, all the way around to research, affordability, and cost. And we thought about these areas, and we thought about the work of the Foundation Strength Committee in three lenses. The first lens was called Future Back. And what that means is that you look out 10, 15, 20 years, and you try to understand what the students look like of tomorrow and what they're going to need, and how do we position ourselves today to satisfy that in the future. That's fun stuff. The next one's present forward. That's where all the challenges of today come into play. We need to be strong financially, have a sustainable and robust business model to move forward so we can do exciting projects and new things. And the last one doesn't sound very innovative, past fulfilling, but again, what that means is things that we do so well here that we're not going to get rid of because it makes us Miami. So we pulled that all together. There was 180 plus faculty, staff, and students on the committees that worked on it, and there were more than 1,500 people that gave input in various ways throughout this process. So it was a large governance process that all came together, which I'm going to share with you today. This is just supposed to impress you. You are not supposed to read this. But on the row axis here, that was the Foundational Strengths Committee. And then on the horizontal there, the rows, and then on the columns was the opportunity areas. And we wanted those to cross-pollinate, to pull together the ideas. And so what the X's mean is that the X's mean that the opportunity areas actually committed and drew from and built upon the Foundational Strengths Committee. Then yellow was high impact and orange was medium impact. And so you can see how these different units and groups all work together in this kind of matrix model. So we were very happy with this outcome and how it all worked out and the collaboration that we saw between opportunity areas and the Foundation Strengths Committee. And so I'm going to go through today wave one. And so what am I talking about? We have so many ideas, it would be impossible to do them all at once. And it would be impossible for me to talk about them all today. So we're going to kind of pick and choose. But what we're talking about with wave one is the following, is that we know whether you take it's either reputation or revenue or whatever you want to put on that y-axis, And there's a foundation, our starting point. And that starting point is down there, and we start doing Wave 1 Thrive projects. We want that to grow, and then ultimately, it will mature and flatten out and asymptotically approach a new baseline. We want to sustain that new baseline and start Wave 2. And so that's the process we're going through. So today, I'm going to present a few ideas in Wave 1. And so when it comes down to it, all these committees had all different types of recommendations and ideas, and they're all numbered, and they'll be in a big document for you. But I kind of structured them into 3 areas for you as we go through it. First, the transformative ideas that are student-centered, then the commitment to excellence, and then finally, operational efficiency. And so I'm going to jump into all 3 of these and give you examples of what came out of the committees. First, the transformative ideas. These came in 2 ways. One, they just started off as big ideas, just big, audacious, bold ideas. They started off that way. And then there's other ideas that started off, they may have been smaller, they may have been in different committees, and then when you pulled them together and converged them, they turned into a big idea. So let me go through a few of these with you. The first is experiential learning. We kept hearing, we got to do more of it. Students do great at Miami with research and internships, but let's make it a 4-year experience. So there were several aspects of this. One was a certificate program or a pathways program where you can get where students can be industry ready, academic ready, globally ready, or leadership ready. And they can actually do that over 4 years and end up with a new certificate, kind of a co-curriculum certificate that goes along with their degree. And so that's very exciting. The next area was CELS. Let me get this right. That is Career Experiential Learning Leadership Seminar. And that's a little bit of a smaller bite. Those are site visits, career treks, shadowing opportunities that you can get little badges and small things that can kind of add up to the bigger certificate program on experiential learning. And then the one I really love here, I get excited about, is the Hallmark experience. We wanted to have something that every student at Miami did, and they would talk about it with employers or graduate schools or professional schools, and that was their Hallmark experience. You know, it may be research, it may be a study away, it could be starting a company. It also could be student employment, where I worked as an RA in one of the residential halls. And we wanted to see outcomes of that as well. So the committee sort of proposed this. We have a sort of a software platform of sorts. Then this software platform helps students track their experience, kind of like a diary, and then a feedback loop and reflect upon what they're doing throughout their time on their Hallmark experience. So when they're done, you know, they may have an outcome that's tangible, such as a paper, a startup company, a business plan, a patent, whatever it may be, or they may have a way in which they can now describe their experiences as an RA or student employment on how that I've learned how to be a great team member, how did I manage conflict management, and how did I do with building collaborations and so forth. So talking about what they did, but in terms of experiential skills to their employers, whoever's interviewing them. So that's very exciting. And then finally, on the faculty and staff side, professional development, having some sort of improvement leaves for faculty and staff, a few weeks to maybe even a full semester, where they can go to an organization outside of the university, a company, a different institution, and really find something new, or look at best practices, or update a skill set, or bring something brand new back to the university. And so it's kind of like reverse experiential learning, where the faculty and staff can bring that back to the institution and then teach our students and bring that to the classroom. So there's a lot more in this area, but that's just kind of a high-level overview of experiential learning. Urban bridges. I love this one too. So an urban bridge, if you think about Cincinnati, we do phenomenally well there. We do Teach Cincinnati. We have startup companies at Centrifuge. We have Over the Rhine programs. And then in Columbus last year, we engaged with Ohio Health, and we created a little bridge there where our nursing students would go to Columbus, and then they could accelerate their clinicals on the weekends and come back and then have their regular classes during the week. And for students that lived in the Columbus area, they stayed with their parents, and they loved it. So that was a neat connection. And we're going to talk a little bit about Cleveland and quantum computing later. But all the 3 C's have something to offer Miami. They have a whole ecosystem that's built around, it could be built around healthcare and aerospace and entrepreneurship, to quantum computing, to healthcare, to even a Federal Reserve Bank up in Cleveland. And so we want to build out programs that we connect with all these cities in Ohio, and we'll be doing that. It may be just ways in which students can do experiential learning in companies and so forth in the summer. It may be degrees that we offer in those cities. So all the details will be worked out on this. But these urban bridges had a lot of support from all the committee members. Oh my goodness. The Arena District. For the last month, every time I gave a talk, the very first question was about the arena. And so so how did we get to this point? So Millett Hall was built in the 60s, and it's tired. And in fact, it has about $83 million plus of deferred maintenance on it. And so it doesn't make sense. It's hard to sell an HVAC and a roof to donors. And so it didn't make sense to try to make this all work and spend that kind of money on it. So if we would use the dollars that we would have otherwise used for the deferred maintenance and fundraise for the rest, we can build out a great new arena. And we're going to call it the Arena District, just to kind of sort of capture all the things that we might do there. And so we had a committee with alums and faculty and staff and such that put together a plan, and they looked at all the different sites, and they chose Cook Field to explore further. And so now we're in the exploration field of Cook, doing renderings and cost and various things. This is a picture of this first rendering. Oh my gosh, I had a laser. What's a physicist do without a laser? All right. So if you're familiar with the area, this is 73 coming into town. That's Patterson Avenue. Behind the arena is Farmer over on that side. This is Scheidler here. And so you can get a sort of a sense of that. And you see how the Pulley Tower is kind of integrated in on that corner of Patterson and 73. So it looks great. It's going to be a multi-use facility. So we'll have games, events, concerts, plays, commencement. We'll do everything there. And in many cases, we can do things simultaneously because there'll be enough space and enough functionality built in. And there'll also be very student-centered. There'll be a student section, of course, in the arena, but we're also going to have a student club where they can go get food and drinks and all those kind of good things for events and games. And so a very exciting project, and we're off fundraising for this right now. It's a big project for advancement. And then the idea came out of leveraging the regional campuses. The idea came out that we should look at it as a polytech. And so if you look at workforce needs in Ohio and Butler County in the area, commerce and business, engineering, health sciences, and probably a few others really resonate with what this area needs. And also, if you look at the Global Mighty Plan themes, critical thinking, ethics, analytical thinking, and writing, it really does kind of capture what we do well, but how do we be most intentional about those skill sets that work for employers? And the third area, which is really important, is partnerships, partnerships, partnerships. And as I mentioned, the Butler Tech partnership with the top tech high school in the country as a feeder coming into Miami and also as a collaborator in the same building, working with faculty members at Miami and Butler Tech. It's just extraordinary. And so far, we already have 30 industry partners signed up for this project. So those partnerships plus Early College Academy for high school students that want to get their associate and high school diploma all at once, and also Work Plus, where students work at a company, a local company, get their tuition reimbursed, and also get a part-time salary. And the neighborhood quad concept. This is really cool. Miami was way out in front of the living learning communities, the LLCs. For decades, people came here to look to see what we did. And so we were very innovative. So this is kind of a new spin on LLCs, and it's called a neighborhood quad. And so there's a pretty quad at Miami. But taking a broader theme, for example, creativity, such that students that live in this quad are from entrepreneurship, the arts, ETBD, SLAM, engineering, et cetera, those that are in creative spaces to bring together a more transdisciplinary mix of students. Other ideas were leadership, impact, and health and wellness and so forth. And what we're trying to get at here is very transdisciplinary, lots of different majors in the mixes so people can learn a lot more. We also want to have a community bond that's bigger than we have today and grow that even further. We know that having a great experience on campus enables us to retain students and have them persist to graduation. And we want to be flexible. So what that means is I want to live with this particular person in this quad, but I want to be a part of another quad. You can do that now. Sure you can. And so there's a lot of things to think about here, but really like where this committee is headed with this concept. And then market and brand. We're entering a very, very competitive market. It's hyper competitive if you think about it. Maybe we capture about 0.1 or 0.15% of students in the market share, and there's some 3,000 to 4,000 institutions, and so it's very competitive. So as we thought about marketing and brand, you look at this nice Venn diagram here, and there's the desire of families and students, our customers, so to speak, and then if we can be unique and deliver something at Miami that's unique, that's a winning proposition. When you start to overlap with deliverables that our competition also delivers, we also see that that's more risky, or it could be even a losing proposition. So we want to try to be in this category here. So we have 3 key strategies. We're going to focus on hyper-personalization for prospective students, so they feel like we're engaged with them as a human being, as a person, and they're just one person. We're not doing all this big sort of marketing to everybody. We're also going to do special offerings for perspectives, and it may even be something for credit that can jumpstart them once they get to Miami, but something very special. And then a cool thing is to begin a student news bureau that works in university communications and marketing. And that would be very neat because they would bring their authenticity to their generation and tell their Miami story. One of the projects that's been going on at UCM, which I believe is phenomenal and I wanted to mention today, is that we have this public engagement going on with our faculty members in their research enterprise. And so they're out there talking about their research and putting it in the public space. We do a lot with the conversation. We had 38 authors and 54 articles that came out, and then those were picked up by 220 other national media outlets, and so about 2.3 million viewers that had eyes on stuff coming out of Miami. And so that's very exciting. So we'll probably continue this in a bigger and better way because we keep getting more and more and more interest from faculty and staff to get out there. So it's a very exciting time from that perspective. I love this picture. So we're faced with really rapid technological change, and let's talk about 3 areas, data science and just data as a whole. It keeps the data sphere, so the worldwide amount of data is huge. Currently, we're at zettabytes, which is 10 to the 21st power, and by 2030-something, we'll probably be into the yottabytes at 10 to the 24th power, so it keeps growing and growing and growing. I feel fantastic where we're at right now with data science and analytics, with the McVeigh Data Science Building and the programs that we have in many different colleges. So we're in really good shape there, and that's going to continue to grow. And then quantum computing. What was once science fiction is now here, quite frankly. Things that would otherwise take decades or centuries to calculate can now be done in real time. And so there's only a few of these computers in the world, but they're coming faster and faster. And I'm going to talk more about that later on in my talk. And then there's AI, artificial intelligence. And everybody's used it. Everyone's used ChatGPT, etc. There's no doubt about it. So the idea here is that when you look at what it's capable of, it outperforms humans on a lot of the transactional and tactical stuff. Speech processing, image processing, language comprehension, writing comprehension. It does very well. We always thought we were more creative than AI, but some very recent studies just came out and compared the creativity aspect of an AI engine to human beings. Guess what? The AI engine actually performed better on a very narrow certain part of creativity than the average human being. But thank goodness, the human beings that are at the top are still better than AI. So the committees looked at all of this, and they are proposing to create a Center for Artificial Intelligence that's transdisciplinary, partnership-driven, and also lots of collaborations. We have a great base here at Miami to start with. We have individuals, faculty, staff working in this area across all colleges, so it's very exciting. The 3 sort of buckets to do new things in would be training, so that faculty and staff and students can be trained in all the latest AI tools to be able to use them in classes or the workplace. The next area was to build out a curriculum for undergraduates and graduates and even co-majors and try to make it very transdisciplinary, bringing in a lot of different colleges and departments into the mix. And finally, research. There's so much to do there in a transdisciplinary space that we thought we could do that very well here at Miami because we know of all the different faculty and staff that are working on AI in many different ways. And also, equally important is try to sort of get outside of Miami and build partnerships that we can pull in to our research enterprise to help us advance that topic. And so this is a very exciting time for artificial intelligence, of course, and what we're doing here at Miami. But we did charge the committee to kind of look at these three things together. We just don't want to build just three separate centers. We can do that, but we need to make sure they work together or are organized in a way. Because data fuels AI, and quantum computing is going to make AI even faster. And so we have to think through how we do here. So that's very exciting. All right. You want to talk budgets? This used to be the last topic, and then one of my colleagues says, you better not end with that. So on the budget side, whenever you do a strategic plan, it's really good to see where you kind of stand and how you compare against peer institutions. And so we did a study, and we looked at our divisions of finance, HR, information tech, and marketing communications. And I'll pick on one to describe in detail, which is finance. And so they look at FTE, so those are full-time equivalents per $100 million in revenue. And then there's just the raw absolute number of FTEs. But you can see Miami comes in at 9, which is below the peer low and well below the peer average. And also, we're below on the absolute number. And so we do a lot with our finance group with smaller numbers than these peer institutions. The HR came in a little bit higher than the peer average, but well below the peer high. But you can see here we're very close to the peer low in terms of absolute numbers of FTEs. And then if you look at information technology, it comes in the second notch from the bottom in terms of the peer low. So we do very well, and you can see there also we have the absolute numbers very low compared to other institutions. Is David Seidel here? You're going to ask for more money, aren't you? I was afraid I showed this, I know. I know, I just thought about that. I'm like, oh no, he's coming to my office tomorrow. And then marketing and communications, again, we're kind of one notch above the peer low, but well below the peer average there. And our number of full-time FTEs is much lower than the rest of the institutions there. So we knew we kind of ran very efficiently and on a really thin rope there. And so I think we do quite well with resources. In fact, we may be overworked in this area, so we'll have to take a look at that in the future. All right, you ready? This is my favorite picture. I was so proud of making it. So zero-sum budgeting, what zero-sum budgeting is going to do is we're going to align each dollar with student interest and demand, and also we're going to align it with our strategic plan Thrive. We just absolutely have to do that. We also have to take the various units, so this is the budget for whatever unit 1 plus 2 plus 3, and it's got to be greater than or equal to 0. And so obviously this is called zero-sum budgeting and how we kind of work this. But to kind of explain it, I'm going to use, it can work for any division, but I'm going to use academic affairs. And so if you look at academic affairs and they kind of zero out their budgets, you have colleges, some are in the black and some are in the red. And so if you're doing really well in the black, it may be hard to capture resources to grow even more. So you put it down to the colleges. And you look at the colleges, and these are all departments. And those departments in the black may need to grow. They may need more faculty because their students are growing at a much faster pace. But they may not be able to because they're helping out other departments. And so the zero-sum budgeting that we're going to institute, we're going to put it down on the department level. Now, there may be subunits in the department, but nevertheless, we're going to look at that with an RCM model and get that zeroed out such that we capture what the needs are of each one of those departments. Because we have some departments that are growing so rapidly and they need to hire more faculty and staff to actually accomplish what they're doing already because of the demand. So we're going to call this zero-sum budgeting, and it's all about transparency in the budget process, but we're going to do it in the future down at the department level as we move forward. So zero-sum budgeting, just to ensure that we pull everyone together and there's great transparency and oversight over everyone's spending, we're going to move the reporting lines of divisional CFOs and college CFOs will be a direct report to our chief financial officer in the central unit. In addition, a lot of these CEOs, CFOs in the colleges and divisions have other duties as assigned, and so they still report up through their divisions, and there's a dotted line back. This sort of group of CFOs from the whole university, they'll have eyes on what the spending is of everybody and the resource allocation and how we do with distributing dollars and investments for Thrive, et cetera. And so we believe this is going to be a much more robust and a much more transparent model. Oopsie. And the new RCM model, we're moving towards something along these lines. And so the instructor, where that lies, will get 44% of the net tuition. Then the majors will be bumped up to 40%. And so in our last model, they were 25%, but we're seeing growth in majors and resources need to go to those departments. And then a new area we put in is performance outcomes. And so we'll look at the department's graduation rates of students, we'll look at the scholarship research and creativity, and we'll also look at grant funding and academic year support from grants and so forth to build out a performance score for those departments. And so this will be the new model that we start with to set ourselves forward on a path to actually start with the new Thrive strategic plan. The second thing that came out on operational efficiency was an HR department, and actually do it with one vice president. So right now we have two sort of tracks. We have the faculty going to one area and the staff going to the other area. And so we need somebody to come in that's going to be a vice president and oversee faculty, staff, and also student employment in these areas, from strategic programming to operations and services and to all the compliance that we have to do. But we need that vice president on the president's executive cabinet that thinks talent, retention, and recruitment of top talent. Just as we're fighting for students in the future when there's fewer of them, we're also fighting for great talent. And so we want to set this up and structure it in a way that our VP of HR, that's all they think about, and they just remind me on PEC every day that talent is everything in an institution like a university. So that'll be happening. We have a search out on the national level for an HR vice president, and lo and behold, when we needed somebody to step in, and Brent retired from Thrive, Brent said, yes, I'll do it. Again, we're going to make Brent a fantastic consultant for somebody someday, because he has all this new experience. My goodness. And then over and over and over again, the importance of partnerships. And the importance of partnerships was coming through every committee in some way, shape, or form. Now, we do well with partnerships. We have big partnerships with CVG, the airport there in Cincinnati. They actually run and operate and manage Oxford International. I'm glad some people got the joke. And then Lilly with Lilly Leadership. And then we have Stryker with what they did with the new Clinical Health Sciences building. So great partnerships. And then we have cohorts of partners. So the Paper Foundation has 42 industry partners. It's our biggest right now. Then we have CADS, Analytics and Data Science, with 4. And then we have the Early College Academy with 10 school systems. And then we have the Advanced Manufacturing Hub with already 30 industry partners without starting yet. And then we have WorkPlus, where students can get that free education and that part-time salary and a 4-year resume. We have 20 partners with industry and also a bunch of hospitals that are in there as well. So we do quite well, but we want to do better. And so it was proposed to create a partnership office and for strategic initiatives and partnerships. And so they'll do both partnerships and stewardships of all the connectivity that we have on the outside, plus they'll manage, track, and keep track of all the Thrive projects going on. And so in addition, they also have to work with more of a dotted line approach with academics, advancement, all the way down to research as well. All these other units on campus that also bring partnerships to the table. And so we announced a few weeks ago that Andy Durajaye will be the new next vice president for partnerships. Andy loves this stuff. And he'll be in Hamilton, so don't worry, Hamiltonians. He'll be there working hard there as well. So he'll be in every place where we have a campus and so forth. So partnerships, we sort of envision it this way. The Tier 1 partnerships will be with organizations that have a university-wide connection to us, and we hope to have 15 when all is said and done in steady state. Tier 2 partnerships, then we have, they connect with 2 or more divisions or units or departments, and hope to have 25. And then the bigger group will be at Tier 3, where they have single individual connections with various parts of the university in kind of one division, one unit, or one department. So that's kind of how we envision this playing out in the end. So now, commitment to excellence. We will keep focused on what we do with student success. The 4-year graduation rate is not used in any of the rankings, but it's the one that I look at all the time. We're number 14 in the country for public institutions with the 4-year graduation rate. So it's strong as it gets. And so it's exciting because that means ROI. In addition, the time to completion, we're number 9th in the country there for public institutions, so we do well there. And I wish these things were more included in rankings, not the 6-year graduation rate, because we're a 4-year institution. So I'm trying to advocate for that. But you can see how well we do here. And this is all about student success if they graduate on time, and also return on investment, because they're not paying tuition and staying out of the workforce, or they're not continuing on with their graduate studies. And so our retention rate, we're 43 amongst publics right now at 90% when they matriculate from the first year to the sophomore year, and so do quite well there. But we'll keep pushing, and this one isn't like a big jump that you get. You got to just incrementally just do it. Just keep hammering away. Get a 0.5%, a percent, whatever it may be, and keep improving. And I wanted to give you an example of excellence on a Miami example where we got better and better and better. We set a goal, and we reached it. We set another goal, and we reached it. And furthermore, we always got better than our best. And so that was around sustainability. And it's around this ranking system called STARS. So STARS stands for Sustainability Tracking Assessment Rating System. And they rank universities according to how well they do on their sustainability efforts. And so in 2016 and 2013, we were a silver campus. And then in 2019, we reached a level of our score that pushed us up to gold. There's 179 universities in the gold category. Then our aspiration is to get to platinum. And there's only 13 institutions in the world that have achieved that score. So we would be in the select few. And I'm very excited to push hard on this. We have an assessment in 25 this year. We're also going to have one in 28. So we have a couple of shots at this. And we're doing some pathways to the platinum, and that's improvements on engagement with staff training and cultural assessment. We're going to pick up points here. We're going to pick up points in operations for buildings and the code for suppliers. And then also on academics, we've done so much and we pulled it all together. And so we'll pick up points for having all these departments on our campus that offer something in sustainability, and also course listings and literacy there. So I'm very excited as we move forward, and all the great work that we're doing with the geothermal there in front of Millette, and also the solar field on Western. And there's a PhD in engineering coming to advance research and to also recruit and retain faculty members in the College of Engineering. And so it's an umbrella program, and the program is with 4 departments: biomedical and chemical, mechanical and manufacturing, electrical and computer, and physics is in there from CAS. And so it's a really interesting collaboration between the various colleges as well. It'll be a more flexible program at a place like Miami. It will be very collaborative in terms of its impact. And also, we believe that students actually can really focus in on broader impacts. So in addition to the science and STEM that they do, they can also think about the impact on society and human health, et cetera. So we're really excited about this. It's gone through the approvals at the university level and the board, and now it's sitting at the state. All right, now I get excited. So quantum computing, it's wild. If you look at this graph here, this is the time it takes to calculate something. And the problem size, n, you can think of that as complexity. So the bigger and more complex the problem, the longer it takes. So traditional computers, they can kind of rise up here, and then all of a sudden, on really big problems, it can take years or decades to compute, centuries, in fact, and it's not even feasible to do that. Moore's law, which you've heard of, we always get a factor of 2 or so on the computing power every couple of years as transistors get smaller and smaller and smaller. It'll push it out, but not to the level of where we want to do these big calculations. And so quantum computing does that. we actually replace the bit. You can think about a coin, and a bit could be a head and a tail on a coin, but a quantum computer is a qubit. So you have a head and a tail, and you flip it, and you've got all those intermediate sort of solutions in between. So that's a kind of a way to think about it. So things that were once not possible because they were up in the century space are now possible. And a cool thing with quantum computing in medicine is it really focuses in on the research, the so-called bench to bedside. And so pure basic research, computing the protein folding that really relates to disease progression is just very big problem to do. And so on the basic front, we can do those calculations with quantum computing. Drug discovery is an expensive process with lots of experiments that takes 20 years, but now possibly you can do what's called in silico experiments in silicon and try to sort of, if you can crunch that down before you start doing experiments to reduce that time to market and that cost of that drug. And then for you and me, personalized medicine, precision medicine, so to speak. And what that means is that they can look at genetics and our lifestyles, and they can look at where we work and what we do and the environment we live in, and actually make sort of structured sort of healthcare decisions based on all that data that we once couldn't do because our genomes are so big. And so it's really exciting. And interestingly enough, the state of Ohio, Jobs Ohio, and Cleveland Clinic invested in 2021 in the Cleveland Innovation District over $500 million. And the big sort of centerpiece in the ecosystem revolves around a quantum computer. It's very expensive and very big. It's also, you got to keep the qubits very cold, near absolute zero. So the big joke is that Cleveland's the coldest place in the world. And so, but it's super cool. So in any event, they need a workforce as this area grows and this ecosystem being the first ecosystem in the world that's going to develop the quickest. And we're going to have that right here in Ohio. So we worked with our partners at Cleveland Clinic, and they were awesome. They have the experts in quantum. So you can take a track in quantum if you want to do sort of healthcare. You can do life sciences and bioinformatics, and then neuroscience. And there's other options you can do. And then you take the quantum stuff from processing to algorithms to cybersecurity in the quantum space. And then a life sciences track, you take basics of biology, you take basics of biochemistry and chemical engineering, bioinformatics and genetics and genomics and so forth. And they were adamant about this, which was great for Miami University because of the strength of our entrepreneurship program. And that was that it's such an evolving field. It's rapid, it's fast, new discoveries every day, that you should have an entrepreneurial mindset if you're going to work in that space. You never know when the next idea, the next patent, the next startup company is going to come out of that. And so our program for quantum computing coding is also going to involve our top entrepreneurship program in the country with a few courses. So we're really excited about this relationship, and it's been fantastic. All right. So, Houday! So last week, we announced a relationship and will be the educational partner for the Cincinnati Bengals. And so we're super excited about that. Paul Brown, class of 1930, is the son of Miami. He was a quarterback here for a couple of years, and then he went off after graduation and started the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals and coached at both of those two teams. He was a phenomenal coach, very different than the traditional coach because he was innovative. He was an entrepreneur. He was credited with sort of helping design the first face mask on helmets that came out in the 50s. He also used the first radio in the quarterback's helmet, and it was during an exhibition game and nobody knew, and then they outlawed it before it came back. So it was that wild. And it's interesting because they only allowed those radios now in college football since 2024. So that's how far ahead of the time he was. He also did playbooks for all the players, and they had to study it and get graded. And so he was just a phenomenal coach, and his legacy is with us today. So this week, we announced the partnership with the Cincinnati Bengals to be their educational partner, and it will afford students all kinds of great opportunities, from shadowing to projects in class to internships to co-ops, and also sort of research for faculty members. And I hope we can use our entrepreneurship savvy here at the institution, our AI work, our data science, and also be involved in other types of projects with the Bengals. And so today, we're lucky we have Lacey Eckert here, who's the Chief Partnership Office of the Cincinnati Bengals. Can you stand up? All right, whether you're going to give me a who day on the count of 3 for Lacey, okay? 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was good. So very exciting times. And then also another partnership that we're starting in the Knightsbridge building, so that's on the Hamilton campus, that new space that was funded by the Butler County Commissioners. And the partnership with Butler Tech is their co-location of Ohio Means Jobs will be there. So what this means is we'll create a talent pipeline of folks that are looking for jobs, and they'll be able to be right in the same facility where there's offers of workforce development, there's educational opportunities, certificates, degrees, all types of training. And so we're super excited about this partnership to have this all integrated into one facility. And today with us is Amy Miller, the Deputy Director of Jobs Mean Ohio, or Ohio Means Jobs. And so as we conclude some of the stuff on Thrive, we looked at our mission focus, student success versus students thriving and student readiness. And you can see here we crossed and counted up how they impacted all the opportunity areas. And so 48% of the opportunity areas had overlap with retention and graduation rates on student success. We had 46% on the campus experience, the return on experience, then also 41% on career readiness and return on investment. And so we had great coupling between the opportunity areas and our mission focus, which is our students here at Miami University. And so we'll have a continuous tracking committee. We'll set up a group, will be implementation steering committee here, and it'll be consisting of faculty, staff, and students, and connected to the University Senate and our shared governance processes. And we'll look at metrics, and we'll look at qualitative and quantitative metrics of all the projects that we're doing. Then we'll go around and assess the programs versus their goals in real time. So we'll do it regularly. What's the KPIs? What's the benchmarks we're measuring against? Then we'll have strategic discussions with those running the programs to brainstorm about how they're doing, where they're headed, and what's next for them. And then we'll make decisions, probably quicker decisions than every 1 or 2 or 3 years, but we'll do it in real time. And that is, do we maintain the funding? Do we expand the funding? Do we pivot in a new direction with the idea? Or perhaps do we even discontinue the idea? So we're going to be doing this in real time, and it's going to be very exciting. And Melissa Thomason's here. She's going to take over this job and be the chair of that committee. And finally, waves. And so I couldn't go through all the different waves, but we have ideas on transfers and Miami Online, nursing expansion, and all kinds of other great things. Wave 2, there's a few things we're waiting on. It's more involved, and there's more pieces and parts to the puzzle. But research is a fantastic group, and they got all kinds of great ideas. But we're waiting to see what's going on at the federal level to see what we might want to start first as that kind of moves through. Or it's a little bit uncertainty right now with research. Then there's an innovation college or an innovation center to do new things. Then the clinical health sciences separate college. And so some of those things that are more involved, the flexible curriculum where there's a lot of elements of the major and courses and the divisional core and the Global Miami Plan that need to be considered. So these will be in wave 2 as we go forward. So today was Miami Thrive, and then we have the final prioritization, and we'll kind of move to the implementation committee, so we have a lot of details to work out. And then the final plan, and it'll be approved by the board. And our board of trustees has been great through this whole process. They've been heavily involved, and they've been updated regularly, and so they're up to speed on all the big ideas that came out of all these different committees here at Miami. And so what I wanted to do right now, I'm going to talk about leadership in a second. And I'm going to talk about talent here at Miami University, because that's going to be the way we accomplish all this Thrive, these Thrive initiatives, is through great people. And I want to give you a quick 5-minute break, but you can't leave. And we're going to have Sam Deary join us for a quick song. And Sam appeared on The Voice. And Gwen Stefani said that it reminded her of Elvis. So give it up for Sam Deary.
One, two. Well, of course, I'm always honored to be introduced by the president, but I'll admit my disappointment that I didn't have talking dogs in a cap and gown. All right, we're going to do a little bit of some Pride and Joy here by Stevie Ray. Well, you heard about love giving sight to the blind. My baby loving cause the sun to shine. She's my sweet little thing. She's my pride and joy. She's my sweet little baby. I'm but a little lover boy. Well, I love my baby with my heart and soul. Love like ours, one that never grows old. She's my sweet little thing. She's my pride and joy. She's my sweet little baby. I'm but a little lover boy. Well, I love my baby like the finest wine. Stick with her till the end of time. She's my sweet little thing. She's my pride and joy. She's my sweet little baby. I'm but a little lover boy. Well, I love my baby with my heart and soul. Love like ours, one that never grows old. She's my sweet little thing. She's my pride and joy. She's my sweet little baby. I'm but a little lover boy. She's my sweet little baby. I'm but a little lover boy. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. That was awesome. Sam, as I was talking to him earlier, is going to pursue his music career, and he is going to be graduating in FSB this year with a degree in finance. And so, good luck to you, Sam, and thanks for always doing what we ask of you. It's just great to have you at our events. I'm going to talk about leaders in the last 15 minutes. I know I'm going long, and I know you're getting anxious, but I want to talk about people, because that's what this institution is built upon. We have a beautiful campus and great sidewalks and trees galore. It's just gorgeous, but it's the people that make this place so special. So our empowering programs really empower students to become future leaders. And let me give you a few examples. So the Lilly Leadership Institute, led by Louise Moorman in engineering, has 55 current students. And also, since 2012, they've trained over 500 in leadership. It's a really robust leadership program. They focus on resiliency, inner strength, the spirit of cooperation, and strategic thinking. And then we have a leadership program, the Center for Business Leadership at FSB, run by Megan Gearhart. They have 59 current students, and also 250 since 2016 when the center began. They talk about leading others, leading oneself, and also the impact that you have on the world with your career. And then Kimberly Vance in Student Life. Oh my gosh. I wish I was popular. She's phenomenal. She wears a lot of hats. I'm going to pick one hat, though. The Cliff Alexander Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life she leads. And it's interesting, through this whole process of Thrive, we ask alums, how did you get to the top of your organization? How did you get to that leadership role? And it was the same answer over and over again. It was oftentimes a great academic degree, the breadth of the education that I had here at Miami. And more often than not, they said it was my fraternity or sorority experience. And so about 30 to 35% of students are involved with the sorority and fraternity life here at Miami. And also, if you look out 20 years, there's been tens of thousands of students and graduates that have interacted with it. So a great leadership program and training. And then, of course, our ROTC units, Captain Lamphere, Colonel Umholtz, and Colonel Stanfeld, are phenomenal, and they're training the next generation of military officers to protect and defend our freedoms and our democracy. And since 1945, when the first ROTC branch opened up on this campus, we've graduated over 3,000 military officers that go off to serve the country in love and honor. Yeah. And then Associated Student Governance. They're phenomenal. They're so active, and particularly this year, they advocate for student interest and needs. They're partners with us. They push us and keep us on our toes to help us advance the institution from the student's perspective. And I want to give a big shout out and a thank you to Will Brindley and Babs Dreyer for their extraordinary work this year as student body president and vice president. And a big congratulations to the new ones that are coming in, Daniel Martin and Christine Ostabo, who will be joining as a student body president and vice president very soon for next year. And then in terms of impactful leaders, we have those leaders on this campus that impact people, they impact communities, they impact their discipline. And I want to show you a couple of great examples. Oh my gosh. There's Nancy Parkinson, 19 years at Miami. And have you ever seen anybody get so excited about food? A banana and a pineapple? She just loves her food. If it was ice cream and chocolate, I might be more excited. But she's phenomenal, and her and her nutrition students, since 2022, have done a program called Lunch and served over 5,000 lunches. And they also work at the student food pantry for students that need food, and they build out food kits. And since 2022, they've distributed over 3,000 kits. So thank you, Nancy. And then Ken Covert from IT. Is IT here in the house? All right. Okay, that wasn't as strong as student life. But nevertheless, Kent ran the Workday implementation, a collaborative spirit. He brings unity to what he does, and he really is always positive on a really big project. Enterprise systems are no easy tasks, and they're full of issues and concerns and challenges every day, day in and day out. And I've been waiting to say this to Kent. Is Kent in the crowd? No? I'll say it to IT. Have a good work day. I got tired of hearing that. And then we have impactful faculty member scholarship. Elizabeth Wardle, Lindsay Regali, and Michelle Navakis, whose books published in really extremely phenomenal presses. And what we have done is we've actually used them to peer influence presidents and provosts and also enrollment managers at other institutions. So we're grateful for their extraordinary scholarship and also showing all the great stuff that we're doing here at Miami in the research sphere. How about here for John Ward for Impact Excellence? John's been here for 22 years at Miami. He's led the expansion of the student services for counseling. He's also been involved with fundraising and grant winning and winning grants, which helped advance student counseling in big ways. And this fall, in the fall of 2024, he managed over 5,300 appointments. And get a load of this, there was no wait time. And so we're really excited. And then Cody Powell and Don Van Winkle, they're working their hard. And Don's been with us for 7 years, and he's run the Chiller Project. He's also working on the Millette Project in front of the north end there for our geothermal piece. And he's also working on the Western College campus for the solar field and doing just a phenomenal job on the sustainability front, bringing this institution even further along than we ever believed was possible. Cody Powell is boss. I should have never gave Cody any alcohol today. But Cody, for 30 years, he was also an intern here at Miami University. And what's neat about Cody is that he is on that critical path, hitting deadlines, which you have to do in facilities. And then he also thinks big and is thinking 5 or 10 or 15 years down the road in the sustainability aspect to make Miami a great place in the future. And then Dan Darkow. And Dan's the director of the Miller Center for Student Disability Services. And Kismet is with them. She's beautiful, and she's 2 years old. And I know they're in the back, and Kismet has a boyfriend back there, Monroe, I saw. So it's really great, all what Dan does as a leader. He left us for a short time, and then he really figured out how wonderful Miami was and came back. But his office actually has 17% of Miami students registered there. So he has a big job, and he leads it well, setting high expectations and also always being positive such that it leads to student success. And then Jackie Johnson, our university archivist. Jackie's been here for 34 years, and she promotes the university archival sort of documents and collections in a big way. She's known for, if you know Jackie, you know she's known for this, for Western College and the significance of that institution and the role it played in the Freedom Summer of '64. And so she does a fantastic job bringing those historic documents to life. So thank you, Jackie, for that leadership. And Sharon Blalock, she's a horticulturist. And this campus is gorgeous. We all know that. It's ranked in the top campuses in the country for beauty, time and time again. It's also the most beautiful campus that ever there was, the famous quote by Robert Frost. But it's just interesting how much heart and soul the grounds folks put into this institution to make it so beautiful. So get a load of these statistics. We have 570 acres of land to keep landscaped. We plant 10,000 flowers annually a year. There's 8,000 tulip bulbs. By the way, the deer eat them. It's not my dogs. And they plant those every year. There's 2,500 yards of mulch distributed on this campus. There's 40 miles of sidewalks, and they got to do the edge trimming. Can you imagine how long that would take? And there's 10,000 trees that we maintain. So a big thank you to FBS and all that they do. And Sarah Woodruff at EH&S, the director of the Discovery Center, has raised multiple millions of dollars in grant funding for her area and discipline and her expertise, which is around evaluation and assessment. And so we're just extraordinarily lucky to have such a talented leader here attracting that external funding and helping out all other researchers with evaluation and assessment. And then this story is phenomenal. Two regional students, Reed Stewart and Brandon Osborne, are both nursing students at the regional campus. This is just a recent story, and we had a faculty member who collapsed outside and had a heart issue, and they immediately got to him and did CPR and saved his life. Just incredible Miami students. Incredible. And sustained leaders, those leaders that have stood the test of time and for decades and years and continue to seek excellence and continue to just do more and more and just get better and better and better. And so here's a few examples of those leaders. Lisa Elram and FSB. FSB. All right. So she's been a leader in her discipline for decades. She's been here at Miami for 17 years. She's the top 100 in the country business management scientist. She's a Fulbright distinguished professor, and she was recently named, get this, a legend. A legend for the distinguished professor in terms of a woman impacting supply chain management. And so that's really neat. And that's why she's bigger than life on the screen here. She's a legend. And so she's just been phenomenal at publishing in the hardest journals to get into and really just elevating Miami's academic excellence in so many ways for almost 2 decades. And then sustained scholarship. And so if you're a scientist or an engineer and you can continually get grants over and over and over again, continuously, and keep funding rolling, it's really a big feat. It really means that you're a leader in your discipline in a big way. So Katya Del Rio Zonas in biology, Dominic Kolkowitz in chemistry, Rick Page in chemistry, and Gary Lorgan in chemistry have kept their research programs going year over year with great grant funding. So give it up for them. This is amazing. And we have some phenomenal early career faculty that are following in their footsteps with continuous funding, from Allison Farrell to Annie Radke in psychology. We got Perry Corbett in physics. We got Hugh Wang in chemical engineering. We got Andrea Kravitz in chemistry and biochemistry. And then you got Teresa Jacoza in biology. So just doing phenomenal work. And so the future is very bright for us. And what can you say about entrepreneurship at FSB? Yay! 17 years now in the top 10, ranked globally. So it's phenomenal, that sort of run. And it's by Princeton Review and Entrepreneurship Magazine. And so they've been great leaders. They've won every award possible. including the very, very prestigious NASDAQ award. And so very exciting for them. And this group called the Life Group, and Life stands for Leadership and the Integration of Faith and Entrepreneurship, and so it's very unique out there in terms of the scholarship, has just been awarded the 2025 Emerging Model Program for the United States Association of Small Business and Entrepreneurship. So yet another award for this extraordinary group and this long run of sustained excellence. And then Daryl Baldwin of the Miyamiya Center. And so, yeah. Daryl was here. Daryl's been at Miami 24 years, and a new Mellon grant came in at $2.1 million very recently. And since 2014, he's brought in over $6 million of sustained grant funding for the center. He's also a leader in the National Breath of Life, which is the organization and the institute that's recovering Native American languages. So just an extraordinary job. We're so fortunate to have the relationship that started way back when Chief Olds and President Shriver shook hands on Lewis Page porch in 1972. And then how about MUPD? We got to give them a big round of applause. MUPD, they keep us safe and sound. They have a really hard job, and they're always there for us 24/7. They're phenomenal. They also brought in grants to actually enhance safety and security on campus. So they're also not just keeping us safe, but they're writing grants to actually bolster our safety. And so a big thank you to all of MUPD. This is Officer Keith Hibbert, and he's got Officer Leo there. And Leo is a phenomenal boy, of course. He's fantastic. And it's kind of funny. I'll tell you a little secret. I hope Keith is not here. But Keith is all serious because Leo's a dog, a bomb-sniffing dog. But I think he just wants a sandwich. What do you think? And then let's talk about competitive leadership in sports. We're having a great year, and I'm going to give you a little plug here. If you haven't been out to see a game or a match, I hope you can get out there. So our softball team is 11-0 in the MAC right now. First place. They ripped the leather off the ball yesterday, by the way. They put it to Toledo. I felt sorry for them. And then our baseball team is 10-2, and they're tied for first place in the MAC. And one more thing, we have tennis at 5-0, leading the MAC as well in first place. So, 2 coaches recently inducted in the Cradle of Coaches. I'll be done in 5 minutes, I'm sure. Cradle of Coaches Association, Carolyn Condit, with 781 career wins and 9 MAC championships. She was awarded an honorary degree from Miami, and somebody said, what if that sets a precedent? And I'm like, if you have 781 wins, let it set the precedent. Let's get them in there. But it's phenomenal. And then Iñako Pusa, the field hockey coach, the 171 career wins and 10 MAC championships. I've never seen them not have a MAC championship. That's how long his run is. It's amazing. He's also the winningest coach in postseason play history here at Miami. And our 2 basketball coaches, new coaches, leaders, turning things around. We had a great season. Coach Box, 19-12, and a women's NIT appearance. And Coach Steele, men's basketball, 25-9, and they made it to the final game in the MAC tournament in Cleveland. This picture actually it's kind of their personalities. Coach Box is calm. And he's always like this. He gets a bad call. It's okay. And it was funny. We couldn't go to one of the women's game, Renata and I. And he's like a scholar of basketball. And so they interviewed him on the TV. And I don't know what he said. And I said, Renata, did you understand that? She's like, no, but it sure sounded good. So he's really analytical. And that's what Coach Steele looks like when he gets a bad call. You want to kind of stay out of his way. That's kind of how I look sometimes, too. And then Sam Pitter, the brand new coach in swimming and diving, pulled off a conference championship there and was named Coach of the Year in her inaugural year. We got a great leader there. And then Katie Nyquist, head coach on the right, and her assistant coach, Sammy Levine, are both brand new to synchronized skating. And in their inaugural year, they won the silver medal for the senior team, and they also won the collegiate national championship a few weeks ago, and so really doing great things. And Coach Martin, and Snoop Dogg Bowl. It was pretty cool. There was a couple of it was kind of cool. Snoop Dogg was shooting like his ice cream out of cannons at people. It was kind of fun. There was that. He also directed the Miami University Marching Band, and they played something from Snoop Dogg. It was really neat, and so it was really fun to be there. We crushed Colorado State, and Coach Martin is now the most winningest coach in terms of total wins in Miami University football history. And I only got a few more minutes. I know I went long. I know everyone wants those Miami cookies out there. But we are creating a documentary on the coaches, the cradle of coaches, because they changed football forever. And they were all Miamians. And so I want to play you a little teaser, what's to come. And I hope you can all watch this once this comes out.
This is a university in the middle of Ohio that's traditionally known for its academics. But it's kind of like, wow, this school changed football.
You know, I always tell people to close your eyes and imagine what you want a university to look like, and it's Miami of Ohio.
There's so many great coaches at Miami of Ohio. We should come up with a term and coin the phrase cradle of coaches.
College head coaches, NFL head coaches, Super Bowl champions. That just means something. Like, you want that for yourself, and you know that there's a path laid out to do that.
It's a very unusual profession. You're called upon to perform daily.
Why did you choose Miami? A great respect for the school.
What made Paul, Paul? If I hadn't had the experience playing under Paul Brown, I don't know where it would have led me.
I've only fired 3 times. He did it all 3 times.
When you're coaching, you have a chance to be significant.
Coaches have egos. That's what makes the best ones great.
You see those names, those people that came before you, and it means something. That's a standard. That's a brand.
I would tell guys I went to the real Miami, and they'd be like, oh yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, we were a school before Florida's a state. Like, how do you argue that?
So keep your eyes out for this documentary. I'm going to end with a few fun stories here. It's been great having you all here. Ian Elmer on the men's basketball team was playing Toledo, and he had a monster dunk, and it was amazing. And it showed up as the #1 play on ESPN national TV. You got to check this out.
And #1 men's college basketball, Toledo versus Miami of Ohio. Ian Elmer throws a monster dunk, one-handed slam over 2 guys. Miami, Ohio wins 92-80. Woo.
I put the equation of projectile motion in there for you. I thought ESPN should start training in the physics realm a little bit, so I love that one. And then this is fantastic. So Jeremy Jones, the director of the Glee Club, is phenomenal. He's been directing the Glee Club for 15 years, and he's done over 400 performances with the Glee Club, both internationally and nationally. So just a phenomenal person. So we set this up such that this year, on Valentine's Day, they did a serenade for Renata. It was a surprise. Wasn't that nice of me? You're all thinking, what a guy, right? And so they came over to Rada Bush. It was a big surprise for her. And so I'll play a quick clip of that.
I guess you say, what could make me feel this way? My girl, my girl, my girl. Whoa.
They rocked it. It was awesome. And just a quick funny story. So I was in Columbus, and this came out. It was the day after Valentine's Day, and the Miami merger came up to me at the event, and the wife was saying to the husband, she's like, see, look what Greg did for his wife. And he got all defensive. It was kind of funny, because as they started walking away, he's like, it's not fair. That guy has a Glee Club. Really awesome. And then this was a play in CCA, and it was called Vern Pulley, The Remaking of a Man, and Ivy and Newton were in the play, as well as Greg and Renata. It was funny. It was fantastic. Just a few things. One, look at that ponytail. Come on, you know. That didn't look like, he was a little more geeky than me, too, and he trimmed bushes and things like that. So I don't know where they got that from. They had Renata spot on. I know. I mean, she was like, But the one thing that was very untrue about this play was when Renata and I are at home alone, we don't call each other President and Dr. Crawford. It was great. I hope we can bring this back because you have to see it. It was hilarious. And so I know I went long today, and I'm very sorry about this, but in so many different ways, this pivoting point we have now and this inflection point that we see with Thrive reminds me a lot of our sustainability efforts that started more than a decade and a half ago. We were way out in front. Nobody else was doing this in schools, and then you can see that investment where it put us in terms of the national landscape of how well we do with sustainability. And it's a bit like Thrive today. We know this world is changing, and we know we have challenges abound that we have to address, but we got the best people at this institution, and we got the talented students and the wonderful faculty and staff, and so much talent that we're going to be able to really capitalize on this Miami Thrive plan and go big and advance this university to levels, to new levels into the future, leveraging all the great work and the great history and legacy that we already have. So one last thing, we had so many people who put their heart and soul into Miami Thrive. There was more than 180 individuals that were actually on the committees, the opportunity areas and the foundational strengths committees. If I could have you all rise if you're on those committees, please, and let's give them a big round of applause. Get up, come on, guys. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for your extraordinary commitment and sitting and listening for so long. We have a lot to do. We have a lot to look forward to, and I really appreciate all your attention. So have a good work day.